Hey everybody, this is your boy Stone Thug, and I'm going to tell you a Stone Thug story. This is about the legendary producer, writer, possibly even a director, which I'm not sure about, Gene Roddenberry. And Mr. Roddenberry is the creator of the fantastic sci-fi series Star Trek. He is the originator, and he is the one that put the whole Star Trek thing together with the legendary actor. Um, the ones who played Spock and Captain Kirk, that started the miniseries, that started all the movies, that actually did all of those various shows on space and galactic travel, the legendary Gene Roddenberry with Leonard Nimoy, and Kirk, which was played by, what was Kirk's name now? For some reason, it escapes me. His actual William Shatner. William Shatner. So anyway, Gene Roddenberry was a friend of mine when I was a kid. I was a little kid. And you might say, well, how in the world was this, you know, giant producer a friend? How did you ever meet such a person of that character, that caliber, when you're just a regular middle class little black kid living in the city in Michigan? How does something like that happen when he was living here in California? Well, Gene Roddenberry at that time was had a, believe it or not, had a unlisted, or should I say, a listed phone number. And when I was a kid, what I used to do on occasion, I would call famous people up when I was a kid because I just believed I could do it. And that's how the world revolved back then. There was a great show that I used to enjoy, and I was fortunate enough to talk to one of the producers of the show, which gave me the confidence and made me think that I could actually call people on the phone as a kid. And, I was in my, teens, barely. And I caught a show called The Great Debate that used to come on. And because I wanted to be a debater when I was a kid, my favorite people in the world outside of film directors were people who were auditorial, had great abilities of arguing points and stuff. For some reason, I didn't think about attorneys. I didn't really go that route, but I like people who debated. I used to watch that show. So I was successful in calling him up one day. Of course, he let me have it over the phone, but I did call him up. I did talk to him. So I think my second call was to Gene Roddenberry, and I made friends with Gene Roddenberry. I used to call him all the time. I used to speak with his wife as well, and they were as human and down to earth as you could imagine. Gene Roddenberry's wife played the nurse who was in Star Trek and was attracted to Spock. So I did speak with her several times, and I spoke with Gene Roddenberry. And Gene Roddenberry actually did more than talk to me on the phone and befriended me, or I befriended him, or whatever. He actually set it up where I could fly to New York City because I also had an interest, and I was a little inventor, and I used to invent little gadgets and gizmos and stuff as a kid. I had about 4 patents and 4 trademarks. Um, uh, design applications, and I used to work on what you call premium items, the things that you would put in cereal boxes and little oddball items like I would have invented. I did not invent, but stuff like you would say the slinky, stuff of that nature. I used to put together little things like that. So I did something for Star Trek, and Gene Roddenberry set it up, a meeting with me through a woman by the name of Don Steele that was connected to Paramount Pictures. And they had the rights to the Star Trek stuff at that time. So he set up a meeting for me and a company by the name of Migo Enterprises. And I had a presentation with them when I was a child. And I got a chance to pitch them the idea, one of my inventions. And they had a 2-day meeting with me and their design department and whatnot. And they considered my ideas, and I won't get into the particulars at that time because that's very involved. But anyway, Gene Roddenberry was that kind of person, and he set that up, and he wanted to hear about the meeting and what happened and all that kind of stuff. So Gene Roddenberry, bottom line, he was also, I think, a co-writer to Have Gun Will Travel. So he did all kinds of things, westerns and all that sort of stuff. But Gene Roddenberry, um, I remember seeing him once on television when I was a child, and he had an idea about doing a Star Trek movie, and he was making his rounds and on the late night. And I thought to myself, I don't know if that's going to work, a Star Trek movie. I remember thinking that, but he did successfully pull it off. And I did get married, and my wife at the time, she actually went to the first Star Trek convention, and she met the people who showed up, and there was only one actor that showed up to the Star Trek convention. Uh, I said the Star Trek movie, but what I meant to say is the Star Trek convention is that I didn't think would work. But they had the Star Trek convention, and the only actress that showed up to the convention was the black woman who played Attendant Ahura on the set of Star Trek. And my ex, who we're still very good friends, I call her my sister now, even though we're not married, she attended that Star Trek convention, and she got a chance to meet her. So it's kind of funny. It's like a whole family connection thing. But anyway, just wanted you guys to know that Gene Roddenberry was one of a kind. He was just a genuine, great human being, and he was a very interesting guy. A little side story, side bit is that Gene Roddenberry used to date Attendant Ahura. They used to date each other before he married the nurse who was in Star Trek. Also, a little side note for those who don't know, that Dr. Martin Luther King had a connection to Star Trek. He was the one who talked Attendant Ahura into staying on Star Trek. But I know you real Trekkies, know that story, but a lot of people don't know it. But anyway, that's my Star Trek story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you have a good day. Lots more great stories coming. Enjoy YouTube channel, Stone Thug Music. Lots of fun, interesting things on there. And also StoneThug.com and Stone Thug. You can Google Stone Thug for all the Stone Thug music and comedy as well. Thank you much. Have a great day. Peace. This your boy Stone Thug out.